All right. Hello, everybody. Let me get my camera going here. All right. How is everybody here? 2 weeks into the new year. Actually, almost 3. Yeah, next week will be 3 weeks in. So anyway, wanted to open the call up here. We're recording. For those of you that are new to the call or have not made it on yet, we've got these, we're doing video conferencing now using the Zoom, so that's pretty exciting stuff. I created a YouTube channel for these, so it'll be really easy for you guys to get in there and see them. I know some people had difficulties with the recordings before and all that stuff, so anyway, this YouTube will be open. It'll be easy for you guys to access, and you can actually see what's going on. Another cool thing about that is if you're having trouble with something, you can actually show us. Down at the bottom, there's a share screen button, and we can actually view your screen. So if you're having trouble with something, we can take a look at it and see what's up, see if we can get it fixed for you. So anyway, that being said, down at the bottom of your screen, you've got controls where you can mute, you can unmute, you can turn your video on if you want us to see you or want to show us something on your screen. Hey, Gregory. So anyway, that's how these calls will go. So go ahead and if you've got something you want me to cover or you want to talk about or you want to share, this is our call for it.
All right. Good morning, John.
How you doing, Gregory?
Fantastic. I am getting traction at the club for my talk on options.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I emailed you the content to see if there's anything there you might that I might have to polish up on, but so far I've been getting some very good traction. The title, finally, I hope it works, but apparently I'm talking to members who I've never met before. So essentially strangers.
Okay.
I got some, and the title is this: Options Trader, Knowing the Shortcuts to Making Money. And okay. People say, yeah, I want to be in. I want to know more about it. I did a dry run through yesterday with a fellow member who is a financial advisor and does options. And I got a little cleaning up to do. It was right off the top of my head, no notes. Went for it. Got my general sequence. He gave me some very good critiques. And then I showed him what I was going to do on screen. We have a viewing room in the club, holds 20 people. And so it's a big screen, and I'll be patched into that. And I showed him what I'll be doing on my computer, showing him the chart and showing the softwares that I use, and then showing my actual real account. One of the things that I found when I go to a lot of these seminars, people are showing results from 2016 or early 2017. They're not showing results in the last 30 or 60 days.
Uh-huh.
The thing too is they're showing, maybe you can see sometimes they'll say demo account or simulated account, not a live account. So the problem with simulated accounts is that you don't have some of the features that you have in live accounts, like what they call a conditional trade. You can't do that in simulated accounts. Either you're in or out. You can't do a conditional.
Okay.
And so I'm going to actually be exposing my true account, which I did with the guy yesterday. And he was impressed because there you can actually see I'm 200%, 100%, 150% ahead in my options trade. And I closed out an account yesterday. SPY closed out on me yesterday with a $6,000 profit. So my account is starting to get traction. This morning it's up again. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So did you get a chance to read my content that I sent you, sir? I lost your volume.
Oh, there we go. When did you send that through? About
3 days ago.
Huh, I don't recall seeing it. I've been in Vegas here for the last week.
Oh, you didn't go to CES?
I did not go to CES. I went to the affiliate summit.
Aha, okay.
So that was pretty cool. Just got back in yesterday.
Hmm.
And I guess we had a major storm here and kind of flooded my new office. So I had my hands full when I got back yesterday.
Oh, really?
I had a lot of wet carpet to deal with.
Ooh, hard to hear that.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was everything was up off the floor, so no damage.
I'm pretty confident with it. I got to turn it in very soon because they got to print it. They do a layout. Where is it? No, I can't.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, resend it to me just in case I missed it for some reason, and
Okay.
I'll take a look at it for you today.
Okay. And thank you for that inspiration because I really was focusing on POV from the audience side and what gets their attention. And the bottom line, even the guy said it yesterday, I'm on the right track because a lot of option classes and courses and seminars focus on all the exotic stuff and they limit return. And what we're doing is making money, and that's going to be proved by my accountant. So there we are. I
think that's keeping it simple too. I think is important because a lot of people,
right.
you know, if they're in that point where they just want to make money and you get too complicated, sometimes I think it's, you know, out of their reach and it might not be attainable. So that turns them off too.
Right. Well, exactly, because I'm gonna present only one entry strat. I have 7, but I'm only gonna present one, my top dog, and that's the one I'm gonna show. And that's actually this the granddaddy and the simple, and that has a history, so that makes it kind of connective. And then at the end of the conclusion of my event, we can, if those interested want to continue this conversation outside of the realm of the Tuesday night talks. We have a new theory at the club called Great Conversations, where the club will set aside an area for us, and we would get together at 5 or 6 o'clock and just have great conversations. So that's about it.
Awesome.
Okay, so thank you, and I'm going to mic off and let someone else opportunity. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff. It's always good when you know, when you guys take the, you know, the information from the calls and go implement it and get success from that. That's really cool. Awesome stuff. Anybody else got something you want to come out with? A question, a problem, something you want to know about? Lots of been lots of questions about SEO lately. I didn't know if you guys are stuck on anything with that, or if you're all fully turned into marketers now and you're and you're just on the marketing path. I know we do another mastermind call today with our apprentice group, and we had a really great call last week. Some really good brainstorming on some topics, and that's going to be pretty cool to get some updates on that one today. So looking forward to that. All right. Okay, so anybody else? This is your opportunity to go ahead and unmute. If you don't know how to do that or something, there's also a chat window down there. So I know some people may not have speakers or may not have cameras or something. So if that's the case and you do have a question, you can go ahead and click the little chat box. There's a little chat icon down in the bottom of this, and you can type your questions in there if you want to do it that way. So, all right, guys, come on, give me something here. Throw something out there.
Hi, John.
Hey, Lewis, how's it going?
Pretty good. Thank you very much for answering my email.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Regarding the marketing seminar. And I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
First of all, I know how to implement ACT program. I do with my clients because at the moment I'm in the service business. I do SEO, SEM, that kind of stuff. And I know how to promote myself because I do SEMRush Webinars and so on. But the point is that the marketing and what I learn in the ACT program, I know how to implement to my clients, but I do think I don't know how to implement it to myself.
Okay.
which means I know how to run an SEM campaign, SEO, and so on, but I don't do the same return that I see in my clients.
Okay, for yourself, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a really good thing to bring up, because I think we all have the same problem. I have the same problem myself. I mean, I'm really great at this for doing it for the clients, but when it comes back to, doing it for myself, I'm running into the same hurdles. And I don't know what it is. It's some kind of a wiring in our brain that keeps us from helping ourselves. And last week we on our apprentice call, that actually came up because one of our resellers in there, she was having trouble with the same thing. And we did a really good brainstorming session on it. And really what it comes down to is identifying what your prospects are afraid of and what they want. Those two big key things. Because if they're afraid of something, you need to eliminate that fear. And it really is, the answer to the question really is just as simple as you've got to do the same thing for your clients that, for yourself. And I don't know why that is so difficult, but it is. And I totally get your pain on that. So some of the stuff, like we're pretty much in the same business. So I know exactly, where you're at, the stuff that you're doing. I'm doing the same stuff for my clients, and I have the same problem. So some of the stuff that I know about that business and those clients is a lot of them are not tech savvy. You might have clients that are tech savvy, and they're a real pain to deal with because they think they know more than you do. And a lot of times, they've gathered information, they've gotten just enough information to be dangerous. So some way you got to convey that across to them, that you are more knowledgeable than they are, and they need to rely on you and trust you. So sometimes that is easily done with a webinar, where you're actually teaching them something that's out of the norm. And once you gain that trust, when you get that trust and rapport for those customers, they're much easier to deal with. They're much more open to your ideas and your suggestions and all that. But ultimately, what they want, and this is something that we kind of brainstormed out in last week's apprentice call, what the business owners want is they want the same thing that was in Tim Ferriss's book. They want the 4-hour work week. They want more money. They want to work less for it. And, they want to grow their business without all the minutia that it usually takes to do that. They just want somebody to do it for them. So the do it for them is a big piece, because most business owners are overwhelmed. They've already got too much on their plate, and it's taking them down. So, if you can focus in on that is a big piece to it. I think if you can get them, to understand that you are there to take that stuff off their plate and get them something they desperately need, I think that would be a huge thing. So I know, in your country, they might have a little bit different dialect on that. So you've really got to put it into, the words and the language and stuff that they understand and they're going to associate with.
Yeah, I'm in the Spanish market. I am a former web developer with over 7 years experience. The last 4 or 5 years in marketing, and the 25th of January is my 4th webinar with SEMRush.
Okay.
And the point is that I did the summary you recommended in the previous call, let's say what's my prospect and so on, and I have potential clients, and most of them come from referrals. I directly email them promoting myself regarding what I've accomplished with another clients, and a little amount of them come from SEO, which is basically most of my knowledge and my profile.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I ask you about feedback regarding how to complement the marketing grid, let's say, on the marketing options in order to gather more attention on potential clients.
Yeah. So that brings up another interesting point. And you and I fight this battle too, because we're SEO guys. And what it comes down to is business owners really don't want SEO. They want the outcome of the SEO. And this is the same for any marketing. People very rarely buy products for the product, or the service. They buy it because they want the outcome of it. Nobody buys SEO. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, "Well, I think I need SEO today." But what is on their mind and what they are thinking of is they're thinking about two things as far as customers go. They think of who's stealing their customers away from them. They feel spun out of control in the fact that there's new methods of reaching their customers, and they may not be participating in that. So that's a big thing that bears on their mind. Again, SEO fixes the problem, but it's not SEO that they want. They want the customers coming through their door. And one of the things that they fear about that is they don't know how to do it. They're not tech savvy, and they feel they need to be. And they've got too much on their plate, so they can't be. And they've got this fear that their competitors know something that they don't and have a competitive edge over them. And they're literally sucking the customers right out from under them. So that's really what they'll buy. They'll buy a solution to that problem. But you can't really focus on trying to sell SEO because nobody wants it. You've got to focus on the solution. You're selling the solution to the problem. That's where the marketing for us, and it really comes back to the ACT program. It comes back to looking at their timeline. Where are they currently? How do they feel currently where they are? And where do they want to be? What's their desired outcome? And how are they going to feel then? And when you get those things in place and you have a really clear understanding of that, then you're able to walk a mile in their shoes. Then you're able to write copy that will pull them in. You'll be able to, the two things that you want to do from a marketing standpoint is you want to seduce the heart. That's job number one, because the heart is what buys things. The heart is what wants things. And the thing that prevents the heart from getting what it wants is the head. The head is where logic comes in. That's where you have to convince the head that the heart's not going to get hurt and it's not going to get ripped off. It's going to get what it actually wants. So if it pays for something, it gets what it's paying for. And so the two things you need to do is you need to seduce the heart and talk about what they want. And then you need to convince the head with facts and figures and things that back it up and prove the point that it's doable, it's attainable, and the heart can have what it wants. So anything that comes along that gets in the way is coming from the head, and that is objections. And those objections are always based on a belief. And it might be a belief from something they experienced in the past. It might be a belief from something they've heard from other people in the market. It might be a belief from, their childhood. It could be just that. It could go back that far. So the only way that you can effectively change those beliefs, because that's the only way you're going to make a sale. If they have a belief that prevents you from making a sale, you're not going to make a sale. So identifying what those beliefs are and then changing the belief. And you change the belief with the claim proof benefit statement. You have to make a claim that's contrary to whatever that belief is, and then you back it up with third-party data. That way it's not just you saying it. Because for them to really bite on it and believe it just from hearing you say it, you have to have a massive amount of trust and rapport built up. So generally you don't have that in place. So, and even if you did, it just makes it so much stronger to back it up with third-party data. That way it's not just hearsay, it's not just you saying it. And then once you've done that, then you tie it to the benefit. And the benefit is always what they want. You know, it's the outcome. So that's what you want to do. You want to tie that to the benefit, and you want to three-dimensionalize that benefit. So that's a big key there. So does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks a lot for the advice on the recommendation.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go off camera here and make sure my thing is plugged in. It says my battery is low. Anybody else, you can go ahead and come out and go ahead and give us your question.
Well, this is Greg. I want to just extend out what you and Louis just went through, and it was really like I'm focusing on my speech and my presentation, and there's a couple of good key points that brought up in trade schools about why do you want to trade other than the money, and it's what we call what's your freedom day, what's your freedom goals. So I'm glad that you and Louis brought that up, because I missed that little part in my overall scheme, and now it makes sense because of I'm going to do my 5-year journey. That's what the shortcuts are about. What you're going to learn in an hour and a half or an hour, it took me 5 years to finally hone down to what you're going to learn in an overview. The second thing would be is why am I trading? And I'm trading for, besides the money, is the mantra, my mantra is I want to teach the younger generation of my family to make money so they can pay their own way through college. That's for the family. For me, my personal goal is to be able to travel and to upscale places that I have access to now being a club member, but it still takes money. And that's the whole thing there, is to make the money and enjoy those extra travels. But thank you to that point about speaking to the heart. What do they want other than the money? The money's from the head, but your satisfaction, your passion of life, your passion to whatever you want to do as a cause. We have a lot of nonprofit members. We're always figuring out how to make money. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the heart can actually want money as well, but when the heart wants money, it wants it for a reason. You know, the heart doesn't just desire money because, you know, money is just a number, but it's what the money represents. It's always about that. So when you work on like the timeline and you're trying to figure out what their desired outcome is, it's never more money. You know, that's really never the thing. They may want, you have to go much deeper than that. You know, and usually with entrepreneurs, it's typically one of two things. With entrepreneurs, it's either freedom. They have a very deep desire for freedom. They also have a very deep desire for significance. And when I say significance, I don't just mean like it's look at me type of significance. It's they want respect. They want to be the breadwinner in the family. They want to be the one that everyone can depend on. And money, you know, creates that. You know, if you're the go-to guy in your family, that you have a fair amount of significance from that. Now, here's a big thing. Like, everybody wants that. Everybody, you know, kind of has that want for freedom. But what keeps them from it? Remember, I said that any objection is a belief. There's a belief and a fear that if they leave their day job for, you know, to become an entrepreneur, that they'll fail. And there's lots of reasons for that belief. I mean, look at the media, look at how many businesses fail. If I didn't know anything about anything and I just looked at the statistics and I saw that, 94 to 96% of businesses are going to fail in 5 years, and I am in a comfortable job where I am the head of the household. I'm bringing in enough money that everyone's relying on me. And I have a huge fear now of losing that. Like, I leave the day job, I go into something that has a 96% failure ratio. And I know my odds. I have a 4% chance of winning. And if I lose, what's that mean? Ultimately I can, lose respect. I can lose my house. I can lose my family. I could lose everything. So that fear keeps people working. That keeps them in a job that they hate. So that's a huge thing. That desired outcome, that wanting to retain that significance is huge. And it's so big, it could literally keep people in slavery for their entire life. And, I have a completely different mindset. I always have. I've never, I don't know if you guys realize this or not, I've never worked for anybody, not a day in my life. I've never been at a job. I've always worked for myself. And when I think about it, it just scares the hell out of me, the whole idea of working for somebody. That is as terrifying to me as the guy that's, been an employee all his life, as he's terrified of leaving that security blanket to start a business. I am equally as terrified of leaving the security blanket of my business to go to a job, which is going to keep me from it for the rest of my life. So it's the same thing. For some reason, I'm just wired differently in a reverse order. My idea of security is freedom. And freedom is not going to a job and having somebody tell you what to do and be there for a certain amount of time every day and make a certain amount of money every day and knowing that that's it. I'm in a box. I can't get out. That's not secure to me. That is no way, shape, or form secure. I've had, obviously, growing up, I'm, in my 50s now, so I've come across an awful lot of people that have worked their whole life and they feel that it is secure. And I'm just like, that knowing that tomorrow somebody could walk into your office and tell you you don't have a job, that's not secure. That's relying on someone else. So, that's, I don't know how we got on that or what, where that was leading us, but that's what you need to understand is who you're selling it to. Oh, that brings it back to your point, Gregory, of, when you're putting benefits out there and you're trying to sell a product or a training or service or whatever it may be, you have to really understand who's buying it, who are they buying it for. Because when you lead with a thing like, I've created this for the youth so they'll never have to work or they'll never have to worry, that's a big thing for a parent. That's a big emotional thing. A parent will buy that for their kids. Now, chances of their kids actually doing it, that's a whole nother thing. But, to get the heart, if you understand what the heart of a parent, parents live for their kids. So you come across with something of, I can give your kids, this advantage in life. Look at how much parents spend on their kids to put them into sports and get coaches and trainers and, all of the stuff for them to give them a competitive edge. So why wouldn't they do the same thing in life? A lot of times the kids don't even want to be there. They're in sports because their parents push them into it and all that kind of stuff because they want them to be champions. But a lot of times the kids have different ideas. They want to play video games and they could care less about, some of that stuff. there's a lot of movies and stuff that are based around that, kids that are pressured and pushed, and and usually they hit a breaking point. But regardless of that, from a marketing standpoint, it's still about the parents. It's pulling at the heartstrings of what the parents want, what the heart of the parents want is they just want the best for their kids. So if the parent is your buyer and their desired outcome is to make an educational purchase for their kids, that could be a really good marketing campaign for you. That could be an outstanding marketing campaign. That would make it such an easy sell, it would be ridiculous. So, another thing that you could leverage on that is there's a lot of data out there. There's a lot of data that, that could back that stuff up. About kids that go through traditional school, they don't come out with an edge. They come out behind, because generally whatever they've learned in school is already out of date. They learn other principles, but the meat and potatoes of them going into the job market is traditionally well behind. So that really doesn't leverage them and give them a great advantage in the real world. Yeah, it's great for school and it's all, you got the diploma and all of that stuff, but it really doesn't give you an advantage in the real world. What gives you an advantage in the real world is being able to do something. I'm a perfect example of this. I have never had a business owner or anyone that I did work for that hired me because of my education. Not once have I ever been asked for that. All they're interested in is what I can do for them. That's all they care about. So that, to me, having that at my disposal, that's what makes me so desirable from a business standpoint, is I can do what they need done. And when they get somebody like that has the confidence and the knowledge to give them what they need, all the requirements of, what was important to them before go right out the window. They might have criteria of, well, they're only going to hire somebody with a certain degree, but they hire those people and they realize those people don't know how to do what they need. So what becomes really important to them is just that. So it's kind of an interesting concept, and it is reality too. A lot of people don't like to hear me say that because it's kind of against education, which I'm not against education. I am all about education. I mean, I am where I am because of education, but I've educated myself with what I need to know to do what I need to do, not based on a 4-year college criteria of what they think I'm going to need to know, which isn't really truly the case. So knowledge is great. Education is great. I just think the formalized school system is not up to date. I think it's not giving the kids the advantage that they need to act in the real world. So a program like yours, Gregory, that does that, if you can articulate that to the parents, you've got a winner. You could make sales like a landslide if you wrap it in that, because that's what they want. Remember the desired outcome always. They want their kid to have an advantage. They want their kid to have the best. They want their kids to have more than they did. And that's, that's true. That's not just true today. That's true for every generation. Look at our parents. They wanted, more for us than they had. And I know that's a blanket statement. Not everyone has had great parents. Some didn't have parents at all. Some have, So, but traditionally, from a marketing standpoint, that is, again, from a blanket standpoint, people generally want more for their kids than they had for themselves. So, and again, back to the ACT program, it also has to do with going down in segmenting. If you segment down and you find that, that's not, your group, let's say, that's not their deal, then you don't go down that path. You figure out what it is, what's important to your segment of the market. And again, I've said this 100 times if I've said it once. The most important thing in that segmentation process is figure out what is the most profitable segment and go for that one first. And I think if you do, you'll find that you don't really need to go for another one. A lot of people, and I get this over and over and over, they want to focus on charitable work first. And they're not in a point themselves where they can even be charitable. So they want to do something to make money for the charity. And that is ass backwards. If you want to be charitable, make yourself healthy first. Make yourself financially healthy, and then you can give back 100-fold. But starting a business, to gauge it to charity, if you're not financially healthy yourself, it's along the lines of the 96% that are going to fail. It's not focused on the business for the right reason. I'm all about the charity stuff and the giving back, but you've got to make yourself healthy first financially. So focus on a business that is highly profitable. Make yourself profitable, make yourself wealthy, and then you can give back all you want. And even if you are focused on something in business that is going to be to raise money for charity, it's the same thing. Focus on the most profitable market. You don't go down to, the slums and in Skid Row and ask people for money for charity. No, you go to wealthy people, you do fundraisers and you do charity balls. You go to the highest dollar individuals to raise money for charities. It's no different. They're following the ACT program. They're focused on the most profitable segment of the market. But I see so many people that jump in and they want to start a little business and they want to do it for charity, and they don't go after a profitable market. And they struggle, they fail, they lose most of their money, and they didn't have a lot to begin with, and they come out of it the other end broken. And the ACT program is to keep you away from that. That's, again, a business owner, that's probably the biggest fear, is to fail and to be broke and have to go back to a job. So make sure that doesn't happen. That's what ACT is for. The whole purpose of it is to make sure that you understand if your business model is profitable or not. And if it's not, how to make it profitable, or how to just drop it and move on. There's a lot of businesses that you should just walk away from. I see, opportunities every day that I just say, no way. I just won't touch them with a 10-foot pole. And it's because of that background. It's because of the knowledge that I have of how to look at something. I can look at, most any business model within a few minutes, and I know right off the top of my head if it's going to be a winner or not. And one of the first things is that segmentation. Is this business focused on a profitable market? And there's two things to identify whether you have what I consider a highly profitable market. Are the people in it, can they afford what you've got? And not only afford it, but actually want it. That's one of the big things. And is there enough of those people in that segment to justify and support your sales goals? Those two things. If you don't have both of those two things, walk away, or realign. Make sure that what you're doing is in alignment with both of those criteria. That's huge. If they don't, there's no way you're going to win. There's no way you're going to come out the other end smelling like a rose. So, and again, I see business opportunities come across my plate on a daily basis, and 99%, I just, and a lot of times I'll actually tell them. I've told business owner after business owner, over the last 20 to 30 years. If it doesn't look good to me, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to encourage them to go down a black hole. I have probably stopped more businesses than I've helped get started. And to me, I think that's a good thing. I really don't like to see people lose money. I don't like to see them waste time. So, and that's another reason why in the SEO business, I have turned down more customers than I've taken on, because I don't want to get into a business relationship with a client unless I know I can help them. And that's some of the stuff I look at when somebody comes to me and they're looking for a life ring. They think SEO is going to be the answer, and generally SEO is not the answer. SEO is only the answer if a lot of things are in line. SEO is traffic, and as you guys know, traffic is the last piece to the ACT program. It's analysis, creation, and then traffic. So when I look at a business that wants SEO from me and they haven't done the analysis and they haven't created the right marketing message, traffic is not the answer. Traffic is like SEO. What SEO does is it expands things. So it's a multiplier. So if you have a multiplier that's negative, all SEO is going to do is going to expand that. If you've got a losing business model, SEO is just going to make it worse. So that sounds kind of weird. That's exactly true. If you've got a model that doesn't work, SEO is just going to magnify that. It's going to magnify your problems. If you've got if you don't have a marketing program in place, if you don't have a sales channel in place, if you don't know how to effectively sell your products, what's going to happen, SEO is going to bring you more prospects that you're not going to be able to deal with, and it's going to take more of your time. You're still not going to sell anything. So what you've got now is you've got the same amount of money, but you've got less time. It's magnifying your problem. Now, on the other hand, if you've got things in place and you have done your research and you have figured out your market and you have created an effective marketing plan, then traffic makes sense. But when I have customers or prospective clients come to me, 99% of them are not to that point yet. So they're trying to jump into traffic and they've got problems. They've got big problems, and traffic only magnifies those problems. And paid traffic is no different. All traffic costs money. People that say that SEO is free are out of their mind. There's nothing free about SEO. It's going to take your time. And unless you're willing to give up your time and you don't value your time, you're probably not an entrepreneur at that point. So your freedom probably doesn't mean anything to you. And that's not your typical entrepreneur. So anyway, I hope this stuff is helpful for you guys. I hope, I know we haven't talked much about SEO. It's a lot of the talk here is kind of turned to marketing, and SEO really is easy. SEO is just, a traffic thing. Learning SEO, getting search optimization in your business, that's just nuts and bolts. It's pretty easy stuff. What's not easy is figuring out the marketing. So I think, as we move along through this year, I think a lot of the focus of this call is going to be more about marketing. Now, again, this call is open to anything. So if you guys are having trouble with SEO or you've been hit for some reason, definitely bring that stuff on, because I can help you fix that. But let's fix the core. Let's fix the core business and make sure that when you are doing your SEO or your paid traffic or Facebook ads or whatever you're doing, that it's multiplying good stuff, not multiplying evil. All right, so last chance here. Anybody else want to pop out and Ask away. All right. Well, that's about all I had for you guys this week. Last chance to come out. All right. Well, I think a lot of people have expressed that they really like these video calls, so we're going to keep on doing them. And once I get this downloaded, I'll put it up on the YouTube channel. In the archive, there's an archive. We have also, we've kept the archive from last year with all the voice calls. So you'll actually have an archive that's got the new Zoom calls, and it still gives you access to last year's voice calls. So anyway, great stuff. Thank you guys for being on here and bringing the questions. I do want to encourage anyone that is not on the call to get on this call and bring the questions on. There is no bad question. The only bad question is the one that you don't ask. So again, thank you guys for being on here. I appreciate it, and I know everybody else does. These things help. A lot of people watch these. A lot of people pick these up in the archive. So the fact that you're asking questions helps everybody. So thank you again, and we'll be on here next week. So till then, if you have anything, go ahead and post it in the forum or on the boards, and we'll be on with you next week. So have a great week, everybody.